All women are whores. They trade sex for money, they trade sex for cars. A penny saved is a woman fired. Women make horrible employees. Women should not be allowed to vote. It's ridiculous. A woman president would be a disaster. Women know in their hearts that women cannot make decisions. Women are only good for having kids. Unfortunately, they're not very good at raising them. Hitler was raised by a single mother. Every brick you see is there because a man put it there. Women can't do math. They can't be organized. Can't lead a company. They can't take risks. They can't drive for crap. You can't blame women for what they do wrong in the same way that you can't blame a dog for what it does wrong. It's your fault for not training it properly.
If the only way I can get a strange man to leave me alone is by saying I'm 15, and even then, he seems to have a hard time deciding whether or not to heed my request, there's a problem. Don't tell young girls that complain about being groped on the bus or followed by a man in a car or even get catcalled at while taking walks to take a compliment. As a few family members have told me, they're complimenting me by whistling and I should feel happy. As Laura Bates, the founder of the Everyday Sexism Project, so precisely imitates the arguments regarding how we as women should learn to accept these behaviors. People said, stop making a fuss. Women are equal now, more or less. And if women are equal now, then to talk about sexism, to complain about sexism, must be overreacting. Or maybe you don't have a sense of humor. Or maybe you need to learn to take a compliment. Or maybe you're just a bit frigid or uptight or you need to learn to take a joke. We've learned that giving a fake phone number is safer than telling a man no. The biggest problem with men and boys given an outlet to express their offensive and dangerous ideas through social media is that it can tell others that it's okay. Rape jokes and other jokes told on the internet and in real life are awful. Men that commit misogynistic crimes are being defended in comments through multiple social media platforms. I keep hearing that boys will be boys and it's just the internet. But given anonymity, wouldn't it make more sense for them to voice their legitimate opinions rather than hide them? The problem with perpetuating the stereotype that feminists hate men is that girls start to believe it and don't bother fact-checking and speaking out for fear of, I don't know, being shot. I get asked a lot why I sound so angry. A few reasons. Anger has a history of making change. Also, because I honestly believe this is unfair. There was even a video made that tried to show people what it would be like if the power structures were switched in an attempt to get through to them. Men in my generation especially, and I'm talking about the majority, have a reputation of talking about the perfect woman. This is unfair, especially because when a woman tries to talk about her ideal man, her body is immediately brought up as a feeble argument. There are arguments made daily regarding the placement of men's rights activists in daily life. The archetypical MRA is the supposed enemy of feminists, which is another stereotype perpetuated by the patriarchal subset of major society. The bottom line is that men, moreover white, cisgender, heterosexual men, spend the majority of their time defending their own questionable and offensive behavior instead of admitting their mistakes. Many men on social media replied to the popular Yes All Women hashtag on Twitter with a backlash of accused reverse sexism and misandry.
You know what? I'm going to get that commission going because this inequality has gone on long enough.
You know what? I think men are better than women.
She's kidding.
No, I'm not. They provide for us, and we must obey them because they are our masters.
April, stop it.
Leslie, you'll never land a beau with that domineering tone. We must always walk behind the men.
Many people have the wrong idea about feminism, such as Shailene Woodley and Lady Gaga, who say that they aren't feminists because they, quote, love men. Feminism is not about whether or not you love or hate men, but about whether or not you believe in social equality between women, men, and all other racial, gender, and orientational groups. It doesn't help that there are groups such as TERFs, which are transsexual and transgender exclusionary radical feminists. In the same way hate groups which claim to be Christian, such as the Westboro Baptist Church, TERFs always attempt to spread anti-trans hate by passing it off as a brand of feminism. Nigerian writer Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie and feminist icon Gloria Steinem both agree on the definition of feminism according to the dictionary as follows.
I am a feminist. And when I looked up the word in the dictionary that day, this is what it said. Feminist, a person who believes in the social, political, and economic equality of the sexes. My great-grandmother, from the stories I've heard, was a feminist. She ran away from the house of the man she did not want to marry and ended up marrying the man of her choice. She refused, she protested, she spoke up whenever she felt she was being deprived of access, of land, that sort of thing. My great-grandmother did not know that word feminist, but it doesn't mean that she wasn't one.
and I'm also a feminist. According to Batty Mamzelle on Blogspot, white feminism does not mean every white woman everywhere who happens to identify as a feminist. It also doesn't mean that every white feminist identifies as white. I see white feminism as a specific set of single-issue, non-intersectional, superficial feminist practices. It's the feminism we understand as mainstream, the feminism obsessed with body hair and high heels and makeup, and changing your married name. It's the feminism you probably first learned. White feminism is the feminism that doesn't understand Western privilege or cultural context. It is the feminism that doesn't consider race as a factor in the struggle for equality. White feminism is more about who benefits from it and less about who perpetuates it. The problem is not that men have given women everything they have.
Feminism, I believe, means the elevating women to an equal status to that of men. I believe I am, because I'm a free-thinking woman. I am not influenced by other males. I wasn't, even when I was married. I had my own ideas.
The problem is not that men have given women everything they have and the women are being ungrateful. The problem is that men are being brought up to feel entitled to women's bodies if they treat them like human beings, and that there are no repercussions if they don't.